Today's topic is PHP arrays and super globals and get and post super global arrays. This is under model 4 PHP. Now we are going to see what is array. So array is a data structure that stores one or more similar type of values in a single value. For example, if you want to store 100 numbers instead of giving 100 variables, you can use the 100 length. So it is a very similar concept of and also we can simplify the big things. So collects a number of related elements together in a single variable. It allows the set to be iterated. And in this arrays, we have three categories. One is numeric array and associative array and multi-dimensional array. When we're talking about this numeric array, an array with numeric values we can access with integer with numbers. And when we're talking about this associative array, an array with strings can be accessed. The value of elements to be accessed by strings. And when we're talking about the multi-dimensional array, one or more number of elements can be accessed by using this array elements. And it allows access of any element since PHP implements an array and it acts as a dynamic structure, and we can add to the array and we can also remove from the array. So these can happen in this array concept. In PHP, an array is actually an ordered map which associates each value in the array with a key. So we can have in this the key is it means the key it means, and then value we can say the value it is a input type, and key it is a form of named elements for the input field. And array values, it's like unlike these are not restricted to integers and strings, and they can be of any type, object or primitive supported in PHP. So you can even have objects of your own type. So as long as the keys in the array or integers and strings, we can define array in a linear fashion. Like individually, you can each and every array will starts from 0. So here we can set 0 key value to Monday and Tuesday and so on. We can also use alternate approach like we can set the next sequential value to Monday and Tuesday and so on. Otherwise, we can start from 0 onwards. So unlike these values are not restricted to integers and strings. And multi-dimensional array. So here we can access any number of elements associated with it. This is how in this diagram it means. So 0 is for row and 3 is for column. The key values which is paired to the values which is given in input field, so that any number of elements it can access. So adding to an array. So an element can be added to an array simply by using a key or index that hasn't been used. If you want to, if you want to add some, for example, if I'm going to use Saturday to the number 5, then we can a new element can be added also will happen at the end of any array. So now we'll move to get and post super global arrays. So pretty much we need to understand the HTTP protocol first. So get and post arrays will come under another category of HTTP protocol. So it is one of the common HTTP protocol. These two methods actually, and get is used to request data from the specified resource, and it is one of the most important HTTP protocol. And in post, when we're talking about this post, we can send request back to the server, and it is also one of the common HTTP protocol. So in this get, we can whatever we are requesting data can be visible to the user, and all the information which is available in the URL place, so that what will happen, it can bookmark the page and it can be cached too. And so these kind of things which is happening in get, and it doesn't have the capacity to send non-sensitive data, because we can't send any kind of sensitive information through this get method. So through URL parameters only this get method performs. And the post, when we're talking about this post method, it is used to send request back to server, and then in post method we can, it is invisible to the users, and there is no restriction over in post method, but in get method there is having some kind of restrictions to send information and all. I think around 2000 characters. More than that we can't send any kind of information, but in post method there is no restriction also, and it never be cached, and it can't bookmark the page also because it is invisible to the users. And here in PHP, this uses special predefined associative array called super global variables. Why we are telling this as super global arrays means because it can access all the information, it can access all the elements at any stage. It allows the programmer to easily access HTTP headers, query string parameters, and other commonly needed information. So these are called the super global because these are always in demand scope and always defined. So here there is a client that is HTML. Here in this is actually most important super global variables in PHP, since they allow the programmer to access data sent by the client in a query string. So how we can through query string, how we can send the information in the sense. So whatever the information which is like a long string with a mixing of numbers. So whatever the data will be sent through URL, that will be then those will be through this query strings. So here a client is sending request to the server, and server is sending response back to the client along with the requested content too. And get request passed query strings into the get array, and post requests are passed into the post array. The mechanism greatly specifies how we are going to access data posted by the users, since you need not pass the query string or the post or request headers, because now we all know this get method, where we can use this get method, and where we need to use post method and all we discussed in before slide. And this is the simple get method, like we are using the HTML tags. Here we are going to use the welcome get.php. In this method we are giving input type called text, and we are going to break the name, and then the same text we are giving for email also, and we are going to submit. And afterwards you can close your forms, so that by using the simple tags itself we can get the elements or values. And accessing from array data. So here, unfortunately, if the user selects more than one day and submit the form, the value in the get value in the super global array will only contain the last value from the list that was selected. So to overcome this limitation, you can change the name attribute for each inbox from day to day. So you can modify, you can update, you can make any kind of changes at any time, and it can be used in get method only. And using query strings and links. So you can link your data through query strings, as like you can, if for example, if you want to search something in Google search box, and that will be passing like through query only, like a long character which is a mixing of some numbers also. So we can see that end of the URL session we can see all those things. One approach would be to have separate page for each book. Here we can use database processing to display book and all.